Alright guys, my name is Metagoblin and today we're going to be making a rogue lockpicking guide for skill levels 1 to 300. Just before we jump in guys, please do give me a quick follow on Twitch if you want to catch any of my live streams. But anyway, let's jump into the video. So first of all, I'm going to recommend a couple of tips to massively improve and speed up the leveling of your lockpicking skill. So my first quick tip is to get the Gathermate add-on, but also get the Gathermate data add-on to plug into the Gathermate add-on. And basically what it does is it will show lockbox locations on the map. So let me show you very quickly. If you see Desolus here is a bit of a hard farming spot, and well, all these like little green icons on the map basically show you where the possible spawning locations for all the waterlogged footlockers in this really difficult farming area. So that's my first recommendation. My next tip is, when should you actually go to level up your lockpicking? There will, in a number of situations, there will just be mobs in the way, you know, and stuff like that, which obviously need to be killed. And the higher level you are, the faster you're able to kill them, and you're just going to have a lot less hassle. So from level 1 to 70, it's very simple. All you're going to do is basically do your starting rogue quest lockboxes. For the Alliance, they are located here, basically in the Red Ridge Mountains at this mill, Alpha's mill. And all you have to do is stand here and keep lockpicking them. They respawn instantly, and you get to level 70 by doing this very, very quickly. For the Horde, you want to come here to the Merchant's Coast, to this like big boat, as you can see here on the map. What you're going to do is you're going to actually go inside this boat by, well, the only way to get up is basically to jump onto here. And then from here you kind of walk down the stairs, you come around here, and you basically go into the front of the ship, and you will basically have a similar setup that the Alliance have. And from here, you know, you can do your lockpicking. From level 70 to 110, you want to basically come to Lake Everstill here. I'll show where the nodes are on the screen right now. Basically, you're going to have to go underwater and keep a very keen eye on these waterlogged footlockers. As you can see, there's someone else already farming them here. And I'll leave it for him. So yeah, you've got to keep a keen eye because they kind of blend and camouflage, so keep a keen eye. But there are quite a few of them in the lake, and obviously avoid this like deadly elite. For the Horde, when you can no longer get any more skill points from the pirate ship location, you want to come to Zoram's Stand here, where you can start to find waterlogged footlockers, basically around the beach, around these like, you know, Naga mobs. Again, you probably want to come here when you're a bit higher level, so you can just kind of one-shot these, like, well, not one-shot, but you can deal with these Nagas, you know, pretty quickly and pretty easily. For the Alliance, to get from level 110 to 150, I recommend coming here to the wetlands at about level 30. The reason why I recommend level 30 is so you can deal with these Murlocs, and obviously Murlocs can be a right pain in the backside. And as you can see, that footlocker there, surrounded by about, you know, 5 of them. So, but from where I'm standing, I can see one there, I can see one there, I can see one there. So this is a very bountiful area, and it is definitely worth it. Again, if you are like a high enough level, it's right here on the map, and I'll show the nodes as well, so you can see roughly where they all are, because they are, you know, there's quite a large area where they are. My other recommendation when you're doing this spot is, I've already seen like 2 chests here. And it's not exactly peak time, but I would also just recommend looking up a chest, especially with this Gathermate add-on. You can have a look where all the chests are and look, just make a little bit of extra money while you're doing your lockpicking, you know, by opening these chests. To get to level 150 for the Horde, although it is a decent option for the Alliance as well, which I did actually use personally myself, but obviously if you're, you know, if it's a busy time, you have a chance to get ganked by the Horde if you're on a PvP server. But nonetheless, anyway, there's a cave here at Stone Teller Mountains, but it's actually a mine, where there's loads of these battered footlockers. There's loads of them in there, and I'll show you the node locations again. As you can see, obviously there's a lot of mobs here, so I would recommend coming here at about, you know, level 30, if not a little bit higher, so you can deal with the mobs very easily. For levels 150 to 170, one of the best places to come to is here, just off the coast of Desolus, to find, again, waterlogged footlockers. Quite a few of them, and quite abundant. I can see 3 just from where I'm stood here. The irritating thing, obviously, by this method is the fact that it's underwater, but if you see this little bubble thing here, and if you get close enough to it, there's literally another waterlogged footlocker there, and another one, so there's literally 5 here in my range. If you go to here, to this thing, your breath, you know, your breath underwater is totally cancelled, because, and totally reset, because it's basically an air bubble which helps you breathe underwater, so there's a tip for you to, in order for you to farm a little bit faster over here. For levels 170 to 200, a good option will be to come to Angor Fortress. There are a lot of basically lockboxes pretty close to each other. As you can see here, you can level it up pretty quickly. The only downside is the competition for this area. There may be other people here. It is a more popular area, and if you're on a PvP server, that can cause some complications. But nonetheless, this is a pretty good area. You can do a bit of pickpocketing, kill some of the mobs in between to make a little bit of money and just pass the time, maybe generate a little bit of extra XP, and yeah, Bob's your uncle really. Alternatively, if Angor Fortress is too contested with enemy players, or just even players of your own faction, you can come here to the Swampasaurus around the Temple of Atalakar, and basically in the water all the way around there are Mossy Footlockers for you to get. So yeah. From levels 200 to 250, you can come here to the slag picks to lockpick Dented Footlockers, which are basically everywhere around this area, which is underground. You go obviously through here. There's a few. If you go up the, up the platform there and keep going around, basically everywhere that's underground in this area, I'll put the node on the screen again, is basically will have all of these Dented Footlockers. So this is a really good, spot to farm because they're all close together, and you can also do a little bit of pickpocketing and killing mobs along the way to make a bit of money, and yeah. So from levels 250 to 280, you can come here to basically pickpocket the Scarlet Footlockers in Tur's Hand, basically all the way up here in the Eastern Plaguelands. This area, as you can probably tell, lots of mobs here, and there are also elites, so this method is quite difficult. You will have to basically have the power to solo elites. However, there is an alternative method which I am going to talk about straight after this, which may be a little bit easier for you. So the last area we're going to talk about is actually Blackrock Depths, the dungeon. So you can actually do this trick from level 250 to 300, or you can do it from level 280 if you want to go through doing the Scarlet Footlocker method. But all you're going to do basically is you come into the dungeon and you're going to pickpocket the Shadowforge gate, which is here. I think the required skill for this is 250. So you unlock this, and that gives you a skill point, and then you can go and unlock the next one, which I think, yeah, this one will give you a skill point as well. Distract the Blazing Fire Guard so he doesn't come after you, or you can stealth around him, it's up to you. So I've got that one open, we can get this one open, so this will now give us 3 skill points, and then what you're going to do is the last one. However, you may not be able to do this. Actually, I think you can. I don't know what level you can do this at. It all depends on the aggro circle. I'm pretty sure you might actually have to be level 60 to do this, but you can jump down here and get an extra one here from a Shadowforge lock for 4 skill points, and then you can just run out and reset. However, if you want to increase, if you want to get even extra skill points, what you can do when you're basically to maximize each instant reset, because obviously you can only reset 5 instances per hour, which is kind of annoying. And what you can do is just do a little bit of pickpocketing in between, because they will drop footlockers which you can just pickpocket and increase your skill per how many you're making per hour. I did this from level 250 to 300 pretty easily. What I recommend is totally avoiding the fire guards, because they have like an AoE effect which may break you out of stealth. I would also recommend killing them if you can, because they do drop elemental fire and essence of fire, which you can sell for a lot of the auction house. And I'd also recommend not going to the Ring of Law anymore, which is here, and pickpocketing these mobs, because these mobs have a massively increased chance to resist your pickpocket and your stealth. So I'd stay far clear from here. And the area around the prison as well is difficult because you've got hounds, so I'd recommend avoiding the areas with fire guards and hounds and stuff like that. But these areas are pretty safe. Like, you can keep on going from here to here, and if you run out of areas and you cannot unlock the Shadowforge key because you're too low level, that's just resist, that's irritating. And yeah, I'm gonna die here, so do be mindful of this obviously happening, because if you always have your vanish on cooldown, and do not make this mistake. Alternatively, if you are struggling with, that issue I just bumped into there with the pickpocket resist, you may be better off going to Lower Blackrock Spire and farming the orcs in basically the first room that's in between Upper Blackrock and Lower Blackrock Spire, because those mobs are fairly easy to pickpocket, to be honest. Just make sure to use your distract when you're going into the little rooms, and that'd be much easier. But the last thing I'm going to show you is how to get further on in this dungeon. without actually needing a Shadowforge key and needing to lockpick the actual lock thing, if you're too low level to actually get through. There is actually a way you can kind of just glitch your way through the dungeon, so I'm going to show you that quickly. So if you just stealth down this corridor, what you're going to do is jump through the window. You don't worry about pulling mobs here, because like the mobs will reset once you've jumped out the window, so you can even do it out of stealth if you're feeling a little bit risky. And then from here you go down a little bit, jump up from here, and then what you're trying to do is, from here you need to be out of stealth to increase your run speed. Try and jump from here up to here, might take a little bit of practice, and then from here you kind of get as close as you can, and then you jump and then move forward to just jump onto that little ledge, and then from here you can literally just jump down to here, and you should just glitch through, and there's an invisible floor. Well, actually no, there's not an invisible floor, but in certain locations there is an invisible floor, and from here you are basically in the next portion of a dungeon, and you can essentially just continue to pickpocket these mobs. There you go. But anyway guys, that is where I'm going to end the video. My name is Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.